Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're
Hello?
charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will bring
relevant.
the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their court.
The fireworks are not done.
Allegate commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican for service watching.
Is that correct?
Literally not true. I didn't ask you to interrupt me. Oh, for Trump's sake.
All right, welcome back to the Court of Public Opinion. We are about to jump to court. I am the Recovery Addict. I should probably say that so you know who I am. We're about to jump to court in just a second. It's for the Shelby Nealy sentencing. Oh, the music's loud. Okay, I found it. That's the loud music. We'll go ahead and put a stop to that. And
Remember in the beginning?
congratulations.
When we started 110 years ago?
Kim, first in chat. The internet is all yours this afternoon. Appreciate you taking one for the team and running that for us. All right, let's see where we're at. Let's see. Just moments ago, Mr. Nealy was brought into the courtroom. Let me see if I can show you that. Just 1 second. That's not it. This is it.
In front of the Walmart.
Happy birthday. Here we go. Let's see. Ready? This is what we had just moments ago. You saw the thumbnail. Remember what Shelby Nealy looked like during court. He looks a little bit different now. You guys see if you can spot the difference. Boom. What is it? You get three guesses as to what it is. And wow, he's still a little man. Those nuggets have not helped him beef up much at all. Welcome back. All right, give me a second. We're going to get caught up to live so we can make sure we don't miss a moment. That was just him coming into court. And okay, get the cameras all set up so we can see everything, and we'll have audio here in just a moment. All right, he lost 3 inches in height, possibly. Did he lose weight? No, that beard is something else. I don't think he had the beard in the original. But he's doing the garden gnome Halloween costume, possibly. Looks like the magnetic hair guy from the 70s. That was a fun game. Styled his hair a little differently. You guys are getting closer. I don't think he has access to a fake beard. I think that's the real thing. That's the real deal. So it is what it is. Freshly trimmed dome, and left the chin beard in full effect. So chin beard with mustache. Interesting that the two do not meet. Ne'er do the two meet. It's fascinating. All right. Stroking my chin. I can't put my finger on it. Allie, you're so close. Keep thinking. It'll come to you. Attorney's having a great time. He wrote another book. I don't know. I'm curious if he did. He is not Ian Runkle. Or Peter Tragos, for that matter. Bailiff talking to a few people in the gallery. Also some family members on the opposite side behind the prosecution. It is a wild interrogation for sure. Bet a lot of these family members will be glad when they walk out of this courtroom for the last time and have this behind them. Did we cover this case? Yes, we did. We covered the whole case. This was a rough case. This is a case where the police found that he had murdered his the grandparents, the parents of his wife, ex-wife, before they found out he had murdered the wife, and he killed the parents to cover up the wife's killing. It was bizarre. I need to come into a stream with a bald cap at least once. I think there's a filter for that. I'll have to look for a filter that can do that. I think I did no eyebrows one time. Remember that? I think that was April Fool's no eyebrows. I have to find that clip. Can I get a quick update? Yes, we're here for sentencing for Mr. Shelby Nealy. He's the gentleman on the far right, not in blue. I can't think of any other way to describe him that distinguishes him from his lawyer. They're equal in size. They appear almost with, they could possibly be brothers age-wise. They're just like, it's sixes as to who's older. They're both dressed well for court. I don't know. He's the one not wearing blue. So he's the short, bald, bearded one. Does that help? Yeah, with his kids in tow. Yes, he lived in the house after the murder. His plan was to bulk up on McDonald's and pizza till he was strong enough to move the bodies. That's obviously not happened still to this date. He looks happy. He was quite smiley when he walked in, but not sure if he has if he's going to fight hard on this one. I imagine he is. The only possible outcome is life without parole or death penalty. And Florida, when they say death penalty, I believe they do actually carry it out. So. Wife was buried in the yard in Ohio. The in-laws were buried in the yard in Florida. Well, he was going to bury them in Florida, Shelly Beans. That was his plan. He actually, he went out with a shovel right next to the driveway in full view of the neighbors and slaved away digging a hole. He spent minutes digging a hole and then decided he was not built for this kind of work. Added to the fact that, not being able to dig a hole deep enough and not being able to move the bodies because they were normal human size, and he could not do that. He had to change plans. He decided to just live there for a while and bulk up on pizza, getting strong, pumping the iron. What state? Florida. We're in Florida. Blue and orange are complementary colors on the wheel. I think they coordinated well. Who's this? Not sure if it's a court. Well, because they're behind the bar, it's got to be a member of the public, possibly a member of the media. They got a file on this one, though. Whatever was the question, the answer was yes. Wasn't it close to the road or front yard? Oh, it's in full view, making clay. It was like the neighbors were watching him dig it. It was nuts. The Google Drive car, the Google Maps car could see his burial pit that he was digging. Wow. This is a tough case. This is basically killed the in-laws to hide a murder because he couldn't pretend to be his dead wife anymore. I think I'm looking closely for the string on my computer. It's sort of blurry. It might be there. It does have that all a dollar look to it. I think I don't know if this is true, but I've heard rumors that he's growing out his beard as in protest until the second copy of the book sells. Once that happens, it'll be clean shaven. So he did write a book that was rambling and received a glowing review from his one subscriber who was also like his therapist. That part was weird. If somebody wants to try to call in and explain that whole relationship without saying something too bad. Amish beard is not on the commissary menu in prisons. When he was arrested, he was $120 and 5'3". Now he's $110 and 5'2". Yes, did hear about the Bearcat situation, the Bearcat speed bump situation in L.A. I'm not a big fan of police purposefully administering the ultimate punishment. I believe the court system, where applicable, should be used, but it sounds like in this case, the defendant or in the suspect was not giving them that option, and having killed a police officer and having had others still in the line of fire, they did what they had to do. Running his fingers through it, looking for some spare food, possibly. It's good to keep stuff there. If the sentence of death is what the judge returns here, this will be an interesting question, because first of all, the jury recommended it, so it's very likely that that's the outcome. But it's possible that there's still appeals in the works for him, and I'm not sure if that'll be allowed. Is his therapist lady in attendance? I can't tell. We panned really quickly across the courtroom. Oh, looks like the judge might be coming in. See if we get some audio.
Good afternoon. You may be seated. All right. So we're here on the sentencing of Shelby Nealy. This is State of Florida versus Shelby Nealy. Case number 19-00140. Obviously, under the new statute, the trial judge is mandated to do an opinion, whether it's going to be life in prison or the death penalty. So obviously, I have done that. So anything that I hear at this point will not affect the sentence, because the order is already done. But I do think that the victim's family has the right to be heard. They did testify pursuant to Florida law and the law of the United States as far as victim impact is concerned, but they really haven't had a chance to say how they feel about the situation and what sentence they would like. So they may do that at this point. So, State, would anyone like to address the court at this point?
Judge, may we approach briefly?
Yes.
So, a quick sidebar from Judge Balloon. Baloney. I think Judge Baloney. Is it Balloon or Baloney? I do not recall. The court reporter sets up shop right next to the judge, leans in closely so she can hear. We're practically reading the text on the screen at the sidebar. Very solid judge's chair, I approve. The judge is required to make an opinion, and I believe he's already done it. Crazier things have happened, yes, for sure. The feed that's shared from the pool feed is 720p. The next level up, the resolution, is 1080p. And the level above that is 4K. And I can do 4K. Yes, we did follow this trial. This is one of the chairs I've taken somewhat joy in coveting over. The judge said he already made his decision. He hasn't announced it yet, but the law requires him to prepare an opinion. So he's prepared that based on the evidence that's presented. The victim impact statements will not sway the judge's opinion.
All right. State, would anyone like to address the court at this point?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Stewart, who is on the Zoom.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Stewart.
Hi, good afternoon.
And how are you related to this case?
Jamie Avancic is my biological sister, and I'm the adopted mother of Bella and Oliver now.
Okay. And what would you like the court to know?
So yeah, my name is Karma Stewart. I'm speaking today as the sister and the adopted mom of my sister's 2 young children. Children do not have to live every day with the truth that their father violently murdered their mother, their grandparents, their uncle, and even the dog. No words can really describe the pain that act of violence brought into their lives. The day that she was taken from us shattered everybody's world. She should still be here today, experiencing her amazing children and making memories with them. She was a very beautiful, kind, and strong mom who should be here raising them, living her fullest life. And the brutal way that her life ended and the lives of her loved ones were taken from everybody left a trauma that ripples through everybody. Every single day. The cruelty of her death is beyond comprehension, and the hole that's left is something that we'll never be able to fill. When I stepped in to adopt her children, it was without hesitation. They're a big part of her, and I love them fiercely, but I'd be lying if I said that it didn't change everything. We're all healing from trauma that most people can't even imagine. These children watched their whole world collapse. They struggle with nightmares, fear, confusion, and a deep sadness that no child should have to carry. I've had to explain things to them that nobody should ever have to explain to a child, and they ask questions that I should never have to answer. I see in their eyes every day the impact of what happened to them, and I carry their pain with me. Every day is a battle to restore a sense of safety for them, to assure them that they're loved and that the people they love aren't going anywhere, and to help them rebuild trust in a world that was so unsafe for them. That was made so unsafe for them by this person whose role it was to keep them safe and healthy. They live with a deep-seated distrust in the world and the people that they love, and the scumbag that was responsible for causing them this pain was their father, because somebody was supposed to protect them from violence. Our lives were permanently altered. I rearranged everything, my home, my work, all my plans for the future to create a safe and loving environment for them. And I do it with all my heart because they really deserve that and more. But the cost of Shelby's actions goes far beyond just this moment of violence.
She's adopted the kids.
It still ripples through every corner of our lives and continues to affect us every day. There's really no punishment that will undo this trauma, and there's nothing that can bring back the people that we lost. But please remember that his choices didn't just end lives. They stole peace, safety, and joy from so many people, especially the 2 innocent children here who must now grow up without their mother, their grandparents, and the family that should be their support system. As a victim in this case, I want to be clear, I do support the death penalty, not out of revenge, but out of necessity for the safety and peace of the children that he left behind. I cannot risk them ever having the opportunity to reach out to them as they grow up, to twist the truth, to manipulate their minds, or cause more trauma and confusion than they've already endured. They deserve a chance to heal without the looming shadow of their biological father trying to re-enter their lives or rewrite history. We are trying to rebuild, and we're surviving something nobody should ever have to survive. This punishment can't bring back our loved ones, but it can ensure that he doesn't cause us harm again. We are healing and growing, but we are forever changed. So Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. All right, State, anyone else? Anything else, ma'am?
No, that's everything. Thank you.
All right, State, anyone else who would like to address the court at this point?
No, Judge.
All right, very good. Defense, anyone who would like to address the court?
No, Your Honor. Thank you. I just spoke with Mr. Nealy, and he would prefer not.
All right. Any reason I should not proceed to the sentencing at this point? Anything else that either the state or the defense wants to say?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
Defense, all right. All right, well, this may seem like it's very unimportant, mainly because it is, but I think we have to deal with fees and costs just because we have to under the law. Now, Chapter 775.083 states that a person who has been convicted of any offense other than a capital felony may be sentenced to pay a fine. So obviously this is a capital felony, so there's no fines, but there are minimum mandatory costs in every case, so I think they still apply. So with an adjudication, obviously there's going to be an adjudication here because it's mandatory. We have minimum costs of $368. We also have $100 for cost of prosecution, $100 for the services of the defense counsel, which obviously seems extraordinarily reasonable under the circumstances. For counts 2 and 3, we have $50 for crime prevention, and the defendant did have the public defender's office originally, so we have $50 for the public defender application fee. Now, I believe that counts 4, 5, and 6 have already been
Merged.
Dealt with as far as the sentencing is concerned, and I believe the defendant got time served on all the aggravated cruelty to animal charges. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
It was 5 years, which was essentially time served.
Oh, okay, so it
and then
was,
just the $50.
okay, so an adjudication 5 years in the Department of Corrections, right? All right, so everyone agrees with that, right? All right, so what we have left are 3 counts of first-degree murder, and the court will proceed with the sentencing at this point. The defense can please rise. I don't think you'll be standing all that long here.
And Judge, in regards to cost, can I add some things?
Sure, absolutely.
The next of kin are looking for $30,000 for expenses of funeral and things of that nature. If the court would grant that. There's $7,329 to Florida Crimes Compensation Fund for outpays that were made on behalf of the victims there. There was $1,103.85 to extradite the defendant here, due and owing to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. And the Tarpon Springs Police Department broke down the expenses that they spent investigating the crime and came up with $65,807.23. So, putting that on there.
All right. Sometimes the state will just waive all those, but if the defense has no objection, I'll oppose them.
We consulted with our client, he has no objection.
All right. Is that correct, Mr. Nealy?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'll go ahead and oppose those. I don't know if Madam Clerk got all those numbers.
Can I just confirm that real quick? That was
Sure.
$30,000 for the funeral expenses.
Now, who does that go to? It has to go to somebody.
Richard Ivanchik is the executor of the estate.
Okay. Very good.
And that was $30,000. I had $73.29 for crimes comp,
37.
$1,103.85. That was the extradition.
Correct.
38.
And $65,807.23 to Tarpon Springs for invest.
100,000.
Correct.
A little over
right.
100,000.
All right, the court finds that the state has established 3 statutory aggravating factors beyond a reasonable doubt for each victim. The court further finds that the defense has established the existence of 3 statutory and 38 non-statutory mitigating circumstances. In weighing the aggravating factors against the mitigating circumstances, the court has carefully and thoroughly assessed the significance of each factor and circumstance. The court has given great weight to each aggravating factor. The aggravating factors outweigh the mitigators in this case, which, while numerous, do not reach the magnitude of the aggravating factors. The court has also given great weight to the jury's recommendation. Therefore, the court concludes that the defendant, under the laws of the state of Florida, has forfeited his right to live. Accordingly, it is ordered and adjudged that the defendant, Shelby Nealy, is sentenced to death for the murder of Richard Ivanchik. It is further ordered and adjudged that the defendant, Shelby Nealy, is sentenced to death for the murder of Laura Ivanchik. It is further ordered and adjudged that the defendant, Shelby Nealy, is sentenced to death for the murder of Nicholas Ivanchik. The defendant will be committed to the custody of the Florida Department of Corrections for these sentences to be carried out as provided by law. The defendant is notified that his judgment and sentences are subject to automatic review by the Florida Supreme Court. Done and ordered here in Clearwater, Pinellas County on the 10th day of April 2026. All right, I do have a copy for each party of the sentencing order. It's a 21-page order, and then for anyone else who would like a copy of the order, I have copies here. All right, you may be seated. All right, so should I appoint the public defender's office for purposes of appeal?
Please, Your Honor, I was going to ask if you needed an order. However, I have filed a motion for new trial. I believe that was filed either today or maybe yesterday afternoon.
Whoa. Motion for new trial.
Normally the state, I don't know about this state attorney's office, but in the past, the state has not given a response to a motion for a new trial. And sometimes the court wants a hearing. Sometimes the court will just decide on the merits of the motion. I believe that the motion is pretty thorough as I've gone through the transcript, including Spencer hearing the transcript. And so if the court wishes to issue an order based on the written motion, I don't have any objections.
All right, well, obviously, I'll take a look at it, and then if I think we need a hearing, I'll set a hearing. Otherwise, I'll rule on it. But I will appoint the public defender's office for purposes of appeal. All right, anything else before we adjourn? All right. Thank you.
The defendant has forfeited his right to live, his right to life. Mr. Nealy does not appear too bothered or too surprised by that result. But we did hear that his defense counsel has filed a motion for a new trial. And I'm looking for that. They just filed it today. So we'll see if we can find the reasoning they have for that. Now he's getting fingerprinted. He's standing just a few feet in front of the family members, the surviving family members, who want to watch this process, most likely for closure on this terrible chapter of their lives. This is how a fingerprint works. It's very low tech. You literally place your hand in the order they tell you to on the ink pad, and then it gets rolled in the appropriate spot on the chart as you work through first finger, his middle finger, which, never mind, ring and pinky. Then we're going to advance the paper to the left hand, line that one up. Multiple officers present because the officer be working closely with that officer, with the defendant, is at risk. With his duty belt so close. Okay, then you get a paper towel and you basically just rub the ink off and walk this way, sir. And with that, he's out of the courtroom. And the family are probably mulling over right now the announcement we heard from the defense about the motion for a new trial. Talk about a gut punch. We're going to see if we can find that. What county was this? Was this Pinellas County? Tarpon Springs, Pinellas County. Okay. Give me a second. We do a little research. I'm curious. Not that it's going to be granted, but not that. But it's going to be what they asked for. Let's see. View records. Viewing online. Public view. Let's see. Case category. We'll do all. The name is going to be Nealy. First name Shelby. Okay, Shelby John Nealy with the judge. It's the only open case, 19-001404 or 0CF. That's a capital felony. Has the murder charges attached to it. Waiting for the case to open. It seems to be a big one. There we go. All right, scrolling down the charge details, we've got all those. Where's the docket? Order to pay, transcript of proceedings, notice of absence, the order to pay. What came in today? Nothing's been updated on the docket right now. The last thing was the order to pay that was due on March 31st. So it might take a little time. I'm curious what they said, because a motion for a new trial is basically an appeal, right? They've got to say that something was wrong about this. There was something that was done in error that would have, violated Mr. Nealy's rights. Which he's just forfeited one of the big ones to life. So I'm curious what that's going to be. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's not going to be out probably for a little while, maybe later today. All right, death row inmates don't have cellmates, do they? I don't know in Florida how that works. Oftentimes they don't. He couldn't see over the table, so he couldn't face his accusers. He needed a booster chair. That could be it. That could be it, Cheryl. Learned how to use that page since watching the Sarah Boone stuff. Yes, Florida is a great state for looking for documents. It really is. Utah is not bad because they give a lot of access as well. They just charge you for everything you search for. I like the happy medium. All right. Any other questions or comments about this? If you're surprised right now, if you're surprised that the judge just told that I'll say young man that he forfeited his right to life and sentenced him to death at the hands of the state of Florida, I do recommend you go back and watch some of the case and see what happened. You heard in there that there were three murder charges that he was sentenced for. There were 4 murders. One of them happened up in Ohio. That was his wife. That one happened first. Then he came down to visit her family and proceeded to kill mom, dad, and the brother in their own home, and then live in it, and then steal their car and drive away. It was pretty shocking, and hearing that case go through was, I think the sentence was appropriate, and the jury did the right thing. The judge did the right thing. Do we know if he was housed in Gen Pop awaiting sentencing or if he was already in DP lockdown? He was probably in jail and now is sentenced to prison. It's possible that with this last after he was convicted, he might have been transferred to prison because it's either life without parole or death penalty. Either way, he's in prison. But he was most likely in jail until now, and now he'll get a switch to the prison or his permanent stay until his day comes up. Don't forget about the kids. We heard the one person we did hear from was from the kid's adopted mom, who now has to raise them and explain why they live with her now and what happened. And hopefully they have no memory of what happened down in Florida as they were living in the same house with those bodies for a period of time until the smell got too bad and they had to flee. What method of homicide? I believe he attacked with a blunt force object. Killed the parents and then invited the brother over, and they played video games for a while because he liked him. And then while he was like sleeping on the couch, she did him in as well, like a hammer. So yeah, all those are available. The Shelby Nealy. If you search on my channel for Shelby Nealy, you'll see that. You'll see the thumbnails that match the one that we had today as well. All right. Any other input or questions when people were sleeping? He waited. They weren't all sleeping, but there was definitely a surprise to all of them. I think one was while they were sleeping. One was so the grandma was while she was sleeping. The grandpa was as he was coming into the kitchen or something, carrying stuff, groceries or something into the kitchen, and then the son was out in the front room. What was the reason for these three? They were asking questions, and they were about to find out that he had killed their daughter already. And she was buried in the backyard of the home that he had been renting up in Ohio. They kept asking questions, and he was trying to hide the fact that she was dead, pretending to be her on text messages, and eventually got to the point where they were really getting suspicious, and they said, okay, we're going to come down. And when they came down, the last minute surprise, she couldn't make it, and so he's down there hanging out with them, with their kids. Yeah. There's the playlist. Thank you, Greeners, for that one. That playlist will get you right over to the case if you want to catch up on that one. He took his kids shopping in the murder aisle. Yes, we've got video from him going to the drive-thru at McDonald's. It's a terrible, terrible case. That was his reasoning for that. He had to kill them or else they'd find out about the other murder. All right. He pled guilty. It was just penalty phase. He watched his confession during the trial. I believe that sounds right. I believe he did not plead not guilty. I believe he did plead guilty. And so this is lots of chicken nuggets. Yep. All right. That brings us to 2 p.m. on a Friday. Here are our options. Here's our options. I could do a live stream of a tech build because I have a lot of stuff on Mrs. R.A.'s counter that I need to put together and assemble and get off her counter, or else I'm going to be on the couch. So we could do a live stream and a build that way. Or we could have an easy out, we can't do the Bearcat. Greeners can't do the Bearcat. YouTube has done YouTube-y things with channels that show videos of officers or lawyers or something holding a firearm as part of their profession, as part of their job. And I don't have the rhyme or reason as to why they strike and shut down channels. So I can't risk it. If I were independently wealthy and just did this for fun, then then we could do that. And I could risk throwing away the channel, but I just have to be very careful. Could read documents, Mathis. I can, but I don't want to. Don't want to read them yet because I haven't prefaced them yet. We'll do the live build, tech build, please. All right, let me see if I can find a holder for my phone, and And if I can do that, we can set up the camera so I can build with both hands, because I'm going to need it, because they're little tiny, teensy tiny screws and little tiny bolts that I need to do a whole lot of to put this together. So Maya docs, possibly. I just need to preface them. There's a lot of them. Won't do any more members only. Don't need to do any of those. It would be a live for everybody. I'm working. We'll hang out with a live build. Okay, we'll try that. We'll try that. We all know you want to go play with the cables. It's not that I want to. It's Mrs. R.A. wants them off the kitchen counter. Documents are long to listen to on a Friday afternoon. They are. And it's Fridays is when my brain is just fried, and doing extended reading of legal documents is probably the least interesting, the day I'm least capable of doing it. So, sure, blame Jen. I will, because she would back me up on that one. She's like, "Yep, move them now." All right, we'll try a little live stream with the tech build. Dongles or documents. I actually had to order one more thing. I was trying to put the fan in on the back of the rack. If you watch the live stream, you know what I'm talking about. And the power supply doesn't fit. Oh, let's jump over to the Trial TV Live. This is cool. This is something that's really awesome. Give me 1 second. Trial TV live streaming the splashdown of the Artemis 2. If I can find it here. Customization, redirect. It's scheduled for 4, so you've got a little bit of time, but you can go over there and pop in, hit the like button, get notified of when they go live. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at them, and make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live with a little bit of a tech build from the RA kitchen. Getting some tech put together, lots of plugs and wires and everything to sort out. So we're going to do that, and then it's the weekend. Going to do a build stream this afternoon, and then it's the weekend. So Splashdown is going to be in a few hours, right? All right, you guys, you're all amazing. You're all amazing. You're doing a better job than you think you are. That's my wife's line. And please stay safe. We'll see you a little later today. Bye-bye.
Remember in the beginning when we started 110